Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're talking all about Santos Escobar, his WWE return, and why it happened so soon after his contract seemingly expired. I'm Andy, this is the news, and this is another one about Santos Escobar. So, complicated case with this gentleman over the past few days. It was reported earlier in the week that his WWE contract was expiring. Actually, it was reported on the day that it would expire at midnight that night. PW Insider on top of it, Fightful Select as well, and that he was on his way out of the company. So that happened, the deal expired, he was technically a free agent, but as we sit here, it's Thursday morning, he is no longer a free agent. The free agency seemingly has lasted about 24 to 48 hours, and he is back in WWE. You'd think he would just organize some kind of renewal, complete the negotiations earlier instead of going through this rigmarole, but going through the rigmarole is what they've done. The report from PW Insider, the new one here confirming that he is re-signed, is that apparently the two sides reached a new agreement on Tuesday. So actually, he was a free agent for maybe like half a day or something like that. It's kind of crazy. Now, according to this report, WWE listened to his creative concerns, which were reported to be one of the reasons why he left. They noted his dissatisfaction, and also they gave him a sizably larger offer than was on the table before. So they came back to him with a lot more money on top of listening to whatever creative concerns he had. Now, there are some, other details on the contract, like the length, were not disclosed by PW Insider. And apparently, in this case, it's kind of believed that like letting the contract expire to get the internet talking would give Escobar some kind of leverage for a higher offer, which is technically true. I mean, if you're Santos Escobar, you become a free agent, the internet's going, what's going on? Why is he left? All of this stuff. He could come back to the table and go, see, they want me here. They miss me here. Similar to what we've seen with, Karrion Kross, obviously was given 24 hours to accept an offer, and then he left, and there was a big internet thing about his departure that rambled on for months and months and months, really. And wrong killings are truth as well. Another departure that caused a big furor. He was brought back. Before we dive into the meat and guts of this story, I guess, quick shout to our partners at NordVPN. Do you want a top-notch internet security VPN that's going to protect you from all the bad things out there and allow you, when you're on tour, to be able to watch content from your home location? NordVPN. Sign up now. 76% off, 3 months for free. Link is in the description. You've already had the QR code on your screen as well. Let's talk about Santos Escobar. Now, I do have another report on his situation to go over. Talk about that in just a second. But I think the creative concerns aspect of this is particularly interesting. On the money side of it, get paid, man. Just get paid. Cool. I'm not necessarily too concerned about that because it's not my money, so I don't care. But the creative concerns is an interesting one because do you believe that, friends? Do you believe that when Santos Escobar went back to the negotiating table and WWE were like, yes, we hear your creative concerns, sir. Do you think that this is going to result in a bigger push for this gentleman? I mean, we saw R-Truth come back into the company as Wrong Killings initially. Very serious presentation. Big time, It felt real. It felt like a significant change for him and he was really over. And then they precisely did zero things with him after that. Lasted about 2 weeks. He was going back to his old character, and now he's just slotted back into the mid-card. So he's a guy, the lower mid-card at that. So he's a guy who was let go, re-signed, brought back, promises of a big push and all of this stuff, and nothing happened. So why would the situation be any different for Santos Escobar? It's no disrespect to Santos Escobar. I think he's very good. Extremely charismatic guy, great talker. So very useful to have on your roster, very useful guy to have on TV. Enjoyed his work since he was King Cuerno back in Lucha Underground, back in the day. That's like 10 years ago at this stage. Wow. Very talented dude, but I'm very, very skeptical and very cynical that this situation is going to result in some kind of monster push. Guy's been with the company for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years at this stage. Not once, aside from the LWO stuff, pushed him as like a consistent TV act. So what belief do I have that that's going to change right now? Do you trust the process in this situation? Let me know in the comments below. One person who is maybe a bit less cynical about this situation is Brian Alvarez, who was on Wrestling Observer Radio talking about the Escobar situation, confirming, first of all, that he did get a lot of money and a lot of different perks on his new WWE deal compared to the last one. that he was on. So good for him, obviously. Get paid. The wrestlers are independent contractors in this industry, and they are grossly underpaid as a percentage of the revenue that these companies bring in comparison with other sports. So hey, look, good. Yes, get your money. That's great. But not necessarily something I'm personally invested in. Apparently, as well, Brian Alvarez was kind of responding to people who were like, he's just gonna, people like me, who were like, he's not gonna get a bigger push, he's gonna sit in catering, which is always quite an extreme way of phrasing these things. Alvarez commented, maybe he will, but historically I can't think of one person making that kind of money that's sitting around in catering, so I think you're going to see a lot more of Santos Escobar. So assumedly he's being paid a lot more than the average person on that roster tier, like mid-level push, if you will. He also speculated, Alvarez did, and pure speculation, it's not a report this part, that WWE maybe re-signed him because they didn't want the perception of another talent leaving. I mean, they cut like tens of people every year, so I don't know about that one personally. But yeah, there you go. Theorizing that because they're paying him the big bucks, they're not just going to make him sit around and not really do a whole lot. So I don't know. This is quite a peculiar situation, isn't it? Because like when stuff like this happens, when there's such a dramatic U-turn, the U-turn in this case being Escobar leaving and then immediately re-signing, a lot of people are quick to go, it's a work, and all of this stuff. And we had that with Cross, and I fell into that trap for a little bit, but he's gone. We had that with R-Truth. I believe the reporting on that. I believe that Nick Khan saw the online thing and went, hello, come back, and then they just did nothing with him. I think that was a PR move, a cynical PR move. We'll bring him back, that'll shut people up. It did shut people up because no one's complaining about R-Truth anymore, are they? No one's talking about his lack of push since he came back, despite the belief that this would happen. When it comes to Escobar, I believe this line of reporting as well. I don't think there's any reason for Mike Johnson or any other reporter to be sitting there, being told mistruths by their sources or whatever. I think this is legit. Because if it was a work, you would see him get a monster push immediately on return. Maybe he will. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this, and he does. But for it to be a work, there needs to be a benefit, right? So if Santos goes back and just slots into his old role, what was the point of the whole thing? So I don't think it's a work. We always have to kind of broach that possibility. I think in this day and age, a lot of people are keen for these things to be fiction rather than reality, because it's very hard to actually work people in big 2025, isn't it? By the end of it all, good wrestler, very charismatic, extremely charismatic, perfect as a stable leader because he can talk for days. Good looking dude as well, and a good wrestler. So there's a lot you can do with a guy like that on your roster. Very handy utility player. Look, if I was the guy re-signing people and I saw that guy's deal coming up, I'd be like, hey, yes, re-sign him, he's good. It's kind of a faff around. It does seem like we're getting to a very last minute situation with a lot of these WWE releases, right? So like it gets to within like a day of the contract expiring and they make the offer or something like that. It's like, all right, maybe be a bit more organized, maybe like the start of the month or something. I don't know. They've probably got reasons behind that change in strategy, but it seems a little bit off to me that would be the case. And then that someone technically becomes a free agent before you bring them back. Just sort it out in advance, man. What's going on? But we know that the Endeavor and TKO are tight. We know that they are penny pinchers in the extreme. They are budget sheetsmen, if you will. And they are very, very high on ye olde budget cuts and things like that. They're money people, aren't they? Look at ticket prices these days, right? They want more profit. At a time when WWE's never been more profitable than it currently is. I don't know what to tell you. But look, I like Santos Escobar a lot. I like Legado del Fantasma. I think they're a good group. And I think that if they did a little bit more of him, it'd be welcome because he's very talented. I'm just very, very cynical that after what we've seen with R-Truth, Ron Killings, that's going to happen just because he's signed a new deal. Let me know in the comment section below. Am I being too cynical on this? Maybe I am. Who knows? It's me after all. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that whoever was sitting in that meeting with him going, yeah, your creative concerns, sir, we will address those. I think they were telling a little porky pie. I think they were Pinocchioing themselves into next week. So we'll see what comes of that. Let me know in the comments section below, everybody, what you think of this whole thing. And we will be back with more wrestling news later today. In the interim, the algorithm thinks you're really going to like this video right here. See you in a couple of hours. Goodbye.